July 16th, 2024 to order at 6:21 because we had a special meeting of the trustees before this at 5 o'clock. They ran over and I asked them to have the meeting because they had things to, that we'll go over later in the agenda. Roll call by recording secretary, please.
Tonight we have Teresa Gurdett Carter, Judy Pullinan, Jean Strong, and Ryan Silvestri.
Okay, and I won't do opening statement because everybody's here that's already heard it. Consideration of any changes, additions, or removals to the agenda? Anyone? Okay, comments from citizens? Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes, May 21st, 2024. Those are the minutes that Alicia took. And I told you guys I would watch the video and see who made the motion for moving our corrected agenda, accepting our correcting agenda, and I did watch the video, so I gotta ask Alicia to change that to, the motion was made by myself to approve the new agenda, and it was seconded by Jean, and it was passed. So I'm gonna ask Alicia to fix that. The other thing I want to ask her to fix is number 21. She said Ryan, Rose, and I had a meeting. Jason, Ryan, and I had a meeting, but it was Jason, Rose, and I had a meeting. So I'm going to ask her to fix that. And then I noticed something else as I went through it again on number 66. She has a sentence that starts, River Corridor said. So I'm just going to ask her to fix that sentence. Does anybody have any other corrections to those minutes from May?
I move to accept the minutes from May 21st as amended.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I have to abstain because I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay, and one abstention from Judy. Okay, and then we're going to take a look at the minutes from June that Abby took. Does anyone have any corrections on Abby's minutes? I'm sorry, Abby, but I'm a school teacher, so you're going to see some from me.
That's okay.
Number 6, I had 3C. Again, you just wrote down what Alicia wrote. It should be Rose, Jason, and Terry had the meeting. Ryan's getting all kinds of credit here. And Roman numeral 7, it says 6, it should say 6 main, but it says man. And Roman numeral 7, number 7, 2 tributaries along Mountain and Commonwealth that fall under the river corridor. Now I don't know why I wanted that there. I gotta take a look at it, I guess. Is it in here?
Pictures from last time.
Yeah, from last month, for the minutes.
I remember looking at it.
Well, we can skip that one because I don't remember now. I should have taken better notes about it. Number 10, the word should be 10 inches above a foot, not 2 inches above a foot. And number 12 says Justin said. I think you meant Jason said. Number 12 on section 7. And just fix the word that on number 16. And the word and on number 20. And number 22 needs the word to added to that sentence to make it make sense. And then in section Roman numeral 8, Noah says there should be number 1, new section 9 under comments. Jeez. I'll look up the no one. Are there minutes in here from,
No, I can't find them.
oh, okay.
I'm at home.
Jared's hiding because I asked him to include them. Can you just take a look at that sentence,
Yeah.
Abby, to see what it entails? In number 8, number 2, Terry says if there is a board. Terry says if there is a board. Maybe we should just wait till next month because I should have taken better notes.
I can probably make sense of it when I read it.
And number 4 should be moved to number 2 under the first sentence about rules of procedure. There were some things that were a little out of order.
Okay.
And change, you have to change 9 to 10 in that case. And then number 10, number 6, you need to add that because that goes with number 10 and not with rules of procedure. And number 12, it should say Bob Brandt, not Bob Grant.
Brandt.
Yeah, BRANDT. The
Okay.
D is silent.
Okay.
One time I said the D and he goes, it's silent.
Be hard to say.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Okay, number 10, number 6, add they to this part. Within the HOA and association, and are not willing to give it to the town, and are they not willing to give it to the town? I should have a they added in it to make it make sense.
Okay.
Okay. I just like to fix them because they go on the website forever and it's a
that's
reflection
great.
of
Thank
the
you.
board. Okay. I know, you're always so great about it. Okay, moving on to flood hazard regulations.
we need
We
a-
finished the village last
Just,
month. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan, you had something?
I move to accept the
Oh,
minutes
sorry.
of June 18th as amended.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. And we have Jason here. We finished up village town regs last month. Yay. We had all those professionals from FEMA. Felt really good to make sure everything had already been vetted and all that stuff. So we have Jason to help us start out with, now we gotta do the town of Ludlow. And Jason, I kind of glanced at the town, went through it a little bit. It looks exactly like the old village regs.
Right, I have not done that yet. I mean, I think it could be as simple as changing village to town and, you know, everything remains the same if that's what you all want to do.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, that makes the most
That
sense to me too.
Yeah.
Because they're exactly the same as the old ones that were in the village. And we've already done all that work and it's already been vetted by FEMA and they said it had been vetted by the state, obviously. So is there anything in there that's specifically only to the town? Probably we need to have other maps, right?
Yeah, I mean, there would be, well, technically, you're adopting FEMA's map and the AR, corridor map, so we did create them for you way back when, and we certainly do that again, but, gone, I think, would be what we were calling the local flood, special flood hazard area, and so, we don't really need a map, but I think having that information available for folks, or at least where to find it, is really important.
Okay. So is there anything in the town of Ludlow's flood regs? Oh, she said you hadn't had a chance to take a look at them. Can you think of anything that applies only to the town that we need to include?
Honestly, I think you would all be the same,
Okay. Yeah, the charts are definitely all the same, and the first 5 pages I looked at were all the same. As the old ones, I mean.
I guess there would be 2 things I do want to just point out.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you had your points.
There are just 2 little, fairly minor points. Minor, but not unimportant. So there were 2 notes in that table where we were talking about what used to go through what review process. So one is called fill or grading resulting in a loss of flood storage. So previously we talked about updating that, but I think if, there's a section number E1, we talked about that before, that's the section that's, new Ludlow, that would require, compensatory flood storage. So just to remind you, that's where if you build a house, a brand new house, you sort of have to dig a hole of the same volume, to compensate for the floodplain loss, right? And so I think we need to keep that, I don't recommend changing that. I think we need to keep that language in the table because of that other section.
And it currently is not in the table it's currently not in there from last month? We need to add it back? It's still in there, okay. Okay, good. Section VE1, you said, needs to stay. Okay, and the other thing you said was the grading, excavation, or creation of a pond. And Rose had asked you to add this previously.
Right. So, in quotes, grading, excavation, or creation of a pond is in your existing flood regulations. So Rose asked me to include it, and there it's been for the last 2 months. But, looking at it in a little more detail, there's excavations in there already. So in the model regs, excavation that does not result in a loss of flood storage capacity is allowed. Go through conditional use review process. The excavation that does result in a loss of flood storage capacity is prohibited. So I think that grading, excavation, creation of pond needs to get deleted because you're already dealing with it in those other two categories.
How does the board feel about that? Since we already have it
Yep.
covered in excavation.
Yep, I agree with
I
that.
agree. Agreed.
Jeannie, okay, we all agree with that. So do you want me to make that change in the document, or do you want to make it?
I can make it as pretty easy, so I can make that and circulate it with everybody if
Okay.
that works for you.
Okay.
And
So,
then we can also create a town one too, basically the same language.
yeah, that makes it a lot easier. We can move on.
Yep,
So Jason, you will make those changes and get it back to us, and the next time when we have more things to add to it, we'll have a public hearing, because I've been accused of having too many public hearings, spending too much money, though I've only had 2. Okay. And so I guess maybe I'll have a motion to accept the changes. I think there's only one change because the VE1 was already changed. Maybe a motion to accept this change of taking out the pond, grading, excavation, or creation of a pond, because it's already covered under excavation. So we can, and then approve the flood regs from there.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Did you get that, Abby? It's clear as mud.
Creating excavation of a pond.
Taking out because
Take
we
it
already
out.
have covered it in excavation and in grading, obviously. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Any discussion? No? I'll entertain a motion to accept the flood regs as changed. So we can put that to bed.
I will make that motion.
Judy's gonna make the motion of accepting the new flood regs with this change. A second?
I'll second.
Jean seconding. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and it looks like
We didn't vote on the first motion, but
we didn't vote on the first motion.
No, I
Thank
didn't
you.
think we did either.
Okay, so on the motion of taking out grading, excavation, or creating of a pond, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Ryan, thank you for being my frontal lobe. Okay, moving on to rules and procedure. So Jason, as far as the town one goes, he's already gone, never mind.
See you.
Sounds like it's a cut and paste job. So
Yep.
do we have to maybe vote on also accepting these new rules as part of the town of Ludlow regs proposed? Because we just propose and the select board decides whether or not they want to do that. I'll make that motion to take the flood regs that we just worked on, that have been already vetted and everything, and also change the old flood regs in the town zoning to our new flood regs. Did I get a second from anyone?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, rules of procedure, gonna table it because we don't have Ted, and we said we were gonna wait till everybody was here.
All right.
Okay. Trustees bylaw changes in section 220. Ryan and I were just at the trustees meeting, and I made the changes that they wanted us to make. Did I send you guys a summary of changes?
Section 220.
As they were right
zoning
now.
permit.
Yeah. So what they decided to do with the section 220 zoning permit, we had added that language at the end of it that said all interior.
Sorry,
Yes.
Jason's.
Oh, Jason, you're back. Jason, is there anything, we just made a motion to, make the changes to the village zoning flood regs and then accepted them for a future public meeting. And then we also made a motion to cut and paste them into the town zoning as a proposed change and pass that. Is there anything else we need to do with that?
That sounds good. I don't honestly remember if we have a written report of the changes. I think you did, didn't you? Did you have that?
A written report of the changes?
Yes.
Yep, Bob.
Yeah, the one you sent me?
Yep.
No, what's he talking about?
There's just procedurally, you're supposed to have a report, a certain type of report that talks about the changes. I think.
Okay, but even though we don't want to send it to a public hearing right now until we've done some other work, do we still need to write the report?
Yeah, there does need to be a report, and that just needs to accompany it. I mean, basically, it just reports on the changes.
Okay, do I also need to notify all the other ZAs and planning directors that are abutting towns and also put it on the state website? The proposed
That's
stuff?
right, so, yeah, we can follow up on that.
Okay. Okay, I know what I have to do now. Just gotta write it down so I don't forget to do it.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. Can I borrow your pen, Ryan? Okay, so I need to.
Yeah, sorry, I keep losing you. This thunderstorm's rolling in.
Oh. We thought you left because we were done with flood, but then we thought of things we had to do.
I think we're good though.
Yeah, I think we're good too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do.
No, thank you, Jason.
Thank you,
Appreciate your time.
Jason. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Hope you keep your power.
Yeah, thanks. See you later.
See ya. Okay, notify state, notify ZAs and chairs. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, you're.
Okay, so moving on to agenda item number 9, trustees bylaws changes in section 220. I sent you guys, the language that we had written was that the permit had to be required for any interior structural alterations that change the number of bedrooms and/or has a total cost exceeding $10,000. And so I sent that to Chris Callahan, our zoning lawyer, to see if it was flying. At first he said that it wouldn't. He said that he didn't think that 10,000, that you could put in a number like that and that that's allowed. But then he did a bunch of research and said, yes, you can, but he suggested we add these other things that I think I sent you guys, that a permit shall, So the trustees decided to go with Chris Callahan's language with these 6 items.
Okay.
Noah, do you want to know what they are? Or are you okay? You are? Okay. And what happened with the other thing they were going to talk about tonight, this special meeting, and the reason why they had a special meeting is Brandon didn't put it in their agenda, and then I asked him to, like during changes to the agenda, if he could put it in then.
Got it.
But he met me at the doorway and said he wasn't comfortable with that, so he called a special meeting so we could get our stuff looked at and moved ahead.
Great.
So the second item on their agenda was to look at our lot coverage. And what they decided at that meeting, and I changed in the document, but not on my paper, they decided in the preservation district, it was currently at 12%. We changed it to 75%. They changed it to 20% in June. and they just changed it to 45%. And they voted on that and moved it forward. So the preservation district for lot coverage is at 45%. The next section, Village R2, we combined that with Village R. Originally, it was at 30% non-residential and 50% residential. We changed it to 75% for both.
So
And-
Village R and Village?
Village R, we talked about Village R and Village R2 together because they had the same percentages and the same changes.
And it was what? I'm sorry.
It originally was at 30% non-residential, 50% residential. We had changed it to 75%, both. And they changed it back to the original in June. And then at this meeting, they changed to 50%.
Okay.
For both districts, for lot coverage. And then we talked about the village residential commercial. It was at 30% commercial, which makes no sense currently, and 50% residential. They didn't make a change in that because my mistake was I didn't put it on here that we had made that change. We had changed it to 75%. And regional had encouraged us to get rid of the second column for residential and just have a column that says commercial, and everything would apply to both because of all the mixed uses we're trying to encourage in the village, of like the commercial business downstairs, the apartments upstairs. So, and they agreed, they actually put that into a motion, they agreed that that would be one chart and they would be considered the same density, the same lot coverage, all that stuff would be the same. And so they changed
The
that.
same as what?
The same as, non-residential would be the same as residential. So the
Okay.
commercial stuff would be the same as residential. So
Okay.
now that's one chart. That's what they're proposing to bring to the public hearing, which I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, they changed it to 75% because it's Main Street, and it's, want to encourage
Got it.
the business to be in Main Street.
Okay.
So what's happening with the changes that they made is, well, let me finish the changes that they made. So then Justin wanted me to send him the whole sign section. And he was making the point at the meeting that the sign section is 9 pages long. It's something that Ryan and I worked on it, I think it was during COVID, through Zoom sessions. And Bob and Julie didn't agree with him and wanted it to stay the same. But I did tell them that at the public hearing, they could still make changes to it if they wanted to.
Okay.
Any change could be made at the public hearing. And the other thing is that we have to redo the public hearing because Chris Callahan said the changes that they made are big. And anytime you make big changes like that, you have to have another public hearing. We don't have to have it, they have to have it.
Huh?
So they made a motion to move it to a public hearing, but I asked them not to just limit it to August in case I can't get the paperwork in time. I'm gonna go home and get it all ready right away and send it to Bob and Brendan to send to the Journal. But I haven't even counted how close it is to their regular meeting, but I think it's pretty close to today. And that's basically it. And we also asked them, what to do with junkyard stuff.
Right.
Because you guys wanted me to ask them that, because we don't want to work on bylaws that they don't want. And they voted to keep it in ordinance and change it at their level or at the select board level. So our hands are done with that. We don't have to work on that anymore. Okay. Next month agenda planning. Sounds like we don't need to do flood hazard regulations,
Well,
For
we
the
have
town.
to review just
the town of Ludlow stuff.
because he's gonna change it.
I don't
Might
think he's
just
gonna,
take a few minutes, but
I don't think he's gonna change it. Didn't he say we could just
Oh,
it says Jason will make changes and get back to us. That's what I wrote down.
So he's only gonna change the word village to town.
And I asked him to kind of look and see if there's other maps, because the maps he gave us doesn't include the
Okay.
village, the town.
All right, then.
And what I'd like to talk about, but, I didn't even ask them this, but I can ask them at their next meeting, isn't it the neighborhood developmental areas that I talked to you guys about?
Mm-hmm.
So people that are on adjacent streets and parallel streets to Main Street would be able to tap into that grant money.
And you need to do rules of procedure again.
And we gotta do rules of procedure again, yeah. Okay, so we'll leave those 3 agenda items on for next month. Other business, board member comments.
Thank you for keeping the meeting short because it's so hot in
I
here.
know, and plus it might be flooding out there, so.
Oh,
Just,
it's not flooding. I guess my only comment, and I did make it at the trustees meeting, is that the interior permit language for the village zoning, we need to push that. That has to be adopted at the town level as well. So the select board we need to, however it needs to happen, but it needs to happen or else it's.
I really hear that.
Should we
Okay.
put that on our next agenda so we don't lose that sight of it?
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah, and,
Talk about it then.
yeah.
Okay,
of course,
thanks.
yeah.
Can you see?
Okay, so we got flood hazard regulations, town of Ludlow, rules of procedure, and interior alterations, section 220
Yeah.
Yep, 220 to town.
to town. Because we are gonna have to go to both boards after we have our public hearings with the new flood regs. I just don't
Right.
wanna abuse the process.
But I think it's good not to lose sight of that, Ryan.
No, that's, yeah.
Yeah, it's affecting our CLA, which we're all paying for, them to have $1 million condos up there.
Yep.
We're paying the difference. Any citizen comments? Eric Alden, come on. Noah, come on.
Eric says I'm too hot.
And Noah, they are planning to have a meeting, a joint meeting of, I don't know if it's gonna be all three boards, because I guess most of the research about that housing study has to do with the village, because they want to put it where there's, where there's sewer and water. So at least it'll probably be the planning commission and the trustees. Brendan is gonna call that meeting when he comes back from vacation, just so you know, it didn't fall on deaf ears. We're in the process. Okay?
Okay.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second?
Any discussion? Bearing none, we are adjourned. Oh, wait, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're all set.